Mamoon, youth delegate from the Maldives. I had a brief cross of words or an encounter, friendly encounter with the president of the Maldives some short time ago, and I asked him the question, Mr. President, has any nation on the world offered to sell you 300,000 hectares or 500,000 hectares so that you can establish the new Maldives? Because the way we are going, this is what you will be called upon in terms of your responsibilities. And I'm so happy to have Axon here with us. He's younger than one of my sons, but I would have had a very hard time not acting if I knew that my son or his children would not be able to live in our country because we failed to act. And that is the predicament of Axon and his family and many families around the world. Axon, take it away, please.
If it's not too much trouble, can I use the podium?
Please, of course.
I'm sorry, people, but I had really practiced at the podium, so... Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I start this in an Arabic fashion because it's our tradition and all that. I hope you respect that, and thank you. First of all, I have been hearing about what people would do, would like to do, would want somebody else to do in regard to climate change and what we have right now. But I really need to ask you all, how many of you have experienced firsthand what it is like to feel when you're in this predicament? That is my message right now I'm trying to give to you. Okay, here goes. As I try to convey our message to you, I am not alone. I am among 164 delegates from 44 countries representing more than 2.5 billion citizens most vulnerable to catastrophic climate change. The voices, the concerns, and the pain of all the children of the world ring true in my heart. My eyes go moist, not when I watch a movie, no, not when I lose a football game, and certainly not when I gave away my toys, but because I understand how it feels to see my future so clearly, just within my grasp, and be forced to let it go. Believe me, I didn't want this to happen. In simple words, we are now in the era of climate injustice. Those with more than enough are damaging our world blindly in the common cause of development. Yes, we want development, but while those with nothing suffer to the point at which we just can't see the end of it. In Maldives, where I come from, people are worried and they want to see change. We are only 1 meter above sea level. But we have survived on our tiny 1,997 islands for more than 2,500 years. And every day, meter by meter of land just washes out to sea, sometimes plucking out houses with people still in them. Children get deprived of clean drinking water, not only in the Maldives, no, but in many other countries such as Kenya, Zambia, Senegal, Haiti, and many more. In our declaration, which I will present shortly, we mentioned that our plates are empty because of the droughts that hit us so bad. And when it rains, it seems unending. That the nightmare scenario is happening for real. Trust me, we're not going to let it go easily. I'm not going to go on telling you the sad stories about our country, but I will do my best to tell you how we can work together, young and old, to make the future less bleak than it is right now. And if there's anybody who wants to know more about the dirty side of climate change, please talk to me over dinner. The two fields we have to cover in order to have an effective discussion about climate change is adaptation and mitigation to climate change. We have already heard many of the leaders here. They've been telling us a lot about how they would work and what they would expect everyone else to do for adaptation and mitigation, so I would not go deep into that. For those who don't know, the 164 participants of the Children's Climate Forum came up with a declaration that that Sophie, my colleague, has already presented to you. And it consists of what the youth will do, as well as what we all can do and should do. I'm not here to point fingers at anybody, since I really don't need to do so, because those responsible are already feeling guilty and want change. So let us work together. To adapt and mitigate, I firmly believe that education, or simply awareness, is key. Because we can all believe that if we know that something is wrong, we would hesitate to do it. At least, most of us, specifically those who are sensitive at heart. Curriculums and syllabuses should be changed accordingly to adapt to climate change education so that the younger generations will know what's happening, why did it happen, and what not to do. So we wouldn't have to go on and on and on about the whys and hows every time we have a conference like this. We could just say, hey, let's do this, and we can all agree on it because we know why we have to do it. Other factors of adaptation and mitigation that will come later is disaster risk reduction, technology transfer from richer countries to poorer countries, and researching and monitoring of the climate on a more stricter basis. Then we'll know what to do. It just goes revolving around the same circle. All of this may not be so fashionable for many of the world leaders today. And all the businessmen and women who practically decide how this world is run right now. But mainly because of one undeniable factor: money. Let me tell you something that really needs to be said. Money should not become a big issue when talking about survival, because survival is not negotiable. We all have a basic right to live, and that right should be given to us. Being heard and listened to is a basic right for children as well, I have read. And so I urge you all, even those who already do listen, to pay more attention and give us more support than before. Because we are not only talking about your future or ours alone. We are talking about the futures or even the beginnings for countless generations to come. We, the children of the world, me especially, are very deeply saddened to know that the world leaders had not been able to come to a fair, legally binding treaty before. And this treaty should put an end to the excruciating pain felt by the children of today. If I'm not mistaken, Mr. Prime Minister, please correct me if I'm wrong, there's a pizza named after you in your hometown. Well, yeah, I've heard it that way, sorry. Well, so I ask you, sir, how do you imagine a poverty-stricken child, because of climate change, a poverty-stricken child is given something as wonderful as a pizza to eat? How would that child feel? They don't have access to anything. So if they're given something like this, it would be exotic to them. So imagine how they would feel, how happy they would feel. They don't need to suffer. We all know that. And we all can change this. You can change this. Hold hands, work together, and don't hesitate to share. That's my advice to all the world leaders today. And we believe that by working together, as one huge body, we'll prevent more mistakes, such as this acceleration of climate change that we face today. And if there's still more people who don't think that climate change is such a big issue, believe me, there are some people. If there are these kind of people, I would ask them one question. Would you commit murder, even though you know that it's wrong? Even though you know that the victim begs for mercy, would you do that? No. But it's the same that these people are doing to us if you don't make any change. Because letting us suffer for what we suffer is as bad as killing us off. Not to mention making small children, like your very own, starve. Since the future is for the children, you must first think about this. How old would your children be in 2050? Would they be able to see what we have seen? Would they be able to experience the wonderful life that we are really living right now? Would they? But we are late, but we are not too late. This is the best time to act, and the best time is now. Thank you. I'm Mohammed Aksam Mamun from the Maldives, representing and carrying all the voices of all the children of the world, including your own. Thank you.